What's up, everybody? As you can see, this season is different from the others because, for one, there's only 3 episodes this season, unfortunately. So I figured, just have all 3 episodes into one video. But again, it's going to be different anyway. You'll see later. And, on the other note, the grading system's going to be different too. I wasn't planning on doing it this time, but I was like, you know what, just for the heck of it, I might as well. The last half of season 2, I didn't do it much because it was just all fantastic. It was great. There's a carefully thought out grading system, if you ask me, but the way I had to do it the last half of season 2, it was probably like the episodes were fantastic, or it's my grading system is flawed, but that's up for you to decide. So, now I do plan on doing a supercut of the entire series, so people on YouTube aren't going to miss out on my season 3 reaction. It's going to be in this video, but not like the other 2 seasons. That's going to be part of the supercut that will later on be uploaded later on. But if you want to see my uncut, unedited, somewhat reactions, check it on Patreon. They should be up. All 3 episodes are up now. Check that out. The other episodes are out on there too. I'm not sure about season. No, I don't think season 1's up there. I think I started Patreon after season 1. Either way, it's been, it's a mess. But if you want to see those reactions, if you're impatient, just for $1, they're up on Patreon right now. With all that being said, let's check out season 3, the final season of The Owl House. Episode 1 starts with the final scene from the Season 2 finale. I can't believe I saw that over a year ago. So much has happened since then, and due to a lot of things going on, I'll get to that later. Just saying that a lot has happened. Anyways, several months have passed, and they are still looking for a way to get back home. The unfortunate part is, for me, is that Luce has to go to school. I didn't like school, and I really don't miss it. Teachers were always saying we would miss it, but guess what? I don't. It's been over 8 years, and no, I do not miss it. I prefer going through what I've been going through now. I do miss a few of my teachers, and sadly, I did end up going to a funeral for one of them earlier this year, and of course, it was one of the best ones that really helped me get through my last 2 years of high school. I am kicking myself for not visiting them, but trying to go to a school that wasn't willing to help me until my senior year and tell me that I can't do certain things I wanted to do it's pretty hard to go back to a place like that. And yes, this is related to this video, especially this part of the video. As somebody who has recently told myself to start taking more chances when seeing them so I don't feel regret later on, I still feel guilty about some things as well, which is why I get secondhand cringe when Luce talks out during class. Now, you wouldn't see me acting like this back in school, but I get where she's coming from. Now, have I gone back in time and helped a stranger that later on would be the reason my friends from another dimension are stuck in my own and theirs is being terrorized? Not that I know of, but that's not the point. Lucky for me and Luce, we aren't the only ones feeling guilty. Even Luce's mom has been feeling guilty over the fact that she's been trying to send Luce to summer camp to make her quote-unquote normal. So for her to be normal, because that's what all good parents do. You know, your child has a crazy imagination, send her to summer camp to make them boring. Now let's put that personal stuff behind us for now and see that after Flapjack pokes enough holes in the floorboards, they find a map which, with the help of Masha, leads them to the source of Titan's blood, the main ingredient for a portal back to the demon realm. Also, between these 2 points, Gus and Hunter have been hanging out, and if you pay attention, it seems that Gus has already known that Hunter was a Grimwalker. They eventually are at the Haunted Hayride event, and through Masha we learn more about the Woodabane brothers. As time goes by, Hunter sees Belos in the woods and steals the map that Amity has, while Luce follows. She quickly learns that Belos has taken over Hunter's body. At another place, specifically at Luce's home, Camilla finds Luce's video diaries and learns that Luce has been feeling guilty about what she had accidentally did and plans on getting her friends back to where they belong, with the drawback of being she herself not going with them. Knowing Luce would ultimately regret this even more, she goes after her. When the friends catch up to Luce and Hunter/Belos, a fight ensues. Eventually Belos catches Flapjack and says goodbye Evelyn. Flapjack does eventually break free, but not without a good tear into him. Now, I don't think they had outright said that Flapjack was created by Evelyn, but after going through a rabbit hole of information, things make much more sense, and I was kind of scared that there's a plot hole somewhere, but after seeing all this, I'm even more upset that Disney has canceled the show. I love stuff like this. It's one of the reasons I love One Piece. Anyway, the blood is thrown into the lake so Belos jumps after it, which leads to Camilla saving Hunter from drowning. Trying to figure out how to save Hunter, Flapjack, with his last bit of energy, absorbs himself into Hunter. Belos in his monster form takes the blood and smashes it, which creates the portal. Luce here explains that she was the one that helped Belos find the Collector. She then says that she would not be going back to the Boiling Isles, in which her mom steps up and tells Luce that it is her duty to help her friends. After that, they, excluding V, step into the portal. The beginning of episode 2 shows what has happened during the months that Luce and friends were in the human realm. The Collector has been turning the citizens of the Boiling Isles into puppets, except for King, as they are best friends. We also learn that several characters are having an issue with their own insecurities, even the Collector himself. The Collector also wants the real Ida, but due to King's request, the Collector cannot have her until she returns from her beast form. But we find out that Ida and Lilith are already trying to figure out a way to stop the Collector. Afterwards, Luce and friends run into some Hexside students and they ask them to bring Basha down. When we see her, she's become a tyrannical ruler over the people at the school. She's also with some new characters, Miki and Roka. I don't think I realized this was actually Kikimora until her Abomination I don't think I actually realized this was Kikimora with her Abomination monster until Luce realized. Cannot you? Wait a minute. What? I was just getting ready to say, you know, she reminds me of someone. Maybe I did, I don't remember honestly. Well, they get kicked out of the gym and Matt takes them to a secret room. And here Willow shows Hunter a picture of him and Flapjack, saying that no matter what, he is still one of them. Unfortunately, this backfires and she leaves. This is when Gus comes up and comes clean that he knew since the day of Unity. As bad as Gus feels here, he's still up there being the biggest bro, finding out his friend's biggest, most insane secret and had kept it to himself the entire time. Hunter runs after Willow and Gus. Meanwhile, Luce figures out a plan to teleport right into the Titan skull so they can get closer to the archives, but Kikimora and Basha find them out and put them to sleep. They eventually wake up, fight, and escape. We see Hunter and Gus trapped in Willow's plant magic while Belos is looking for a new body, only to find Rain in the archives and takes their body. Through Rain, Belos tells the Collector that King is plotting against them. The Collector says nah, but spies on him anyway, only to find out that it's true. Unfortunately, out of frustration, he stops and doesn't hear when King says that he's going to use the Talk no Jutsu to him because the Collector is really just a lonely child. Going back to Luce while hiding from Kikimora, Camilla comes clean and says that she didn't want to send her to camp, as she was just like her when she was her age. She just wanted her daughter to fit in more. Luce finally realizes what she truly wants, and that is to be understood. Realizing this, her talisman finally starts to glow, which in turn reveals to Kikimora where they are. Now we see the situation of Gus, Hunter, and Willow. Willow, trying to be the leader and not in a bad way, has been stressing and just bottling up all her issues so that the rest of the group can rely on her. Of course, this has caused the bottle to explode, and now she really can't control her magic. That is until Hunter and Gus finally get to her and tell her that it is okay for her to rely on them, just like they rely on her. She has done nothing wrong, and it is time she can let go of everything she has bottled up. With the help of Hunter's newfound powers, they all escape and keep Kikimora away from Luce as she works on a teleportation spell. We are introduced to Luce's talisman, String Bean the Snake Shifter. Good job on the theorist who kind of got this right in a way. Remember the theory that her talisman was going to be a snake? Great stuff. Unfortunately, the Collector and Belos have been watching above. Papa Titan. The closed captioning just spoiled something? The closed captioning spoiled this. No. Good grief.
Morning.
The beginning of this episode spoiled the booming voice for me because for some reason the subtitle writers thought it was a good idea. Now you may be asking, why do I have the subtitles? Well, the reason is because I need to make sure the people watching on YouTube have an idea of what part of the episode I'm reacting to. Because, yeah, look at the other episodes. You can kind of see what I'm reacting to, but not really. That's why I have the subtitles on there. Don't get me wrong. I love the fact that I went through literal tears to get my dual PC set up right and correct. But it seems that there's still going to be some downsides to it. Especially when you have bad subtitle writers. This is terrible. This was a terrible decision. Why did they think this was a good idea? They didn't have to put, what was it, Papa Titan voice or whatever? They could have just wrote, it would have been better if they just wrote mysterious voice. On a side note, apparently writing down wrote isn't correct, but I think considering the situation, saying wrote over written is better. Good lord, look at this. The entire sentence is apparently not correct. Oh my god. Other than that, what a way to start the final episode. You had me thinking this was a dream. What's the first thing you do when you wake up from a bad dream? You turn on a light, which is what Luce does for King and Ida, because they were actually trapped in a dream. Seeing this, the Collector tells Belos since they have failed, King will surely be mad at him. Belos tells him to simply wipe them out, but even the Collector is against this because he wants them to be friends. Belos quickly learns that King is actually a Titan, and then he cooks up another plan. The Collector then makes his way back to Ida, Luce, and King. While talking to the Collector, they realize that the Collector doesn't know a thing about morality. He simply thinks that if someone is broken, they can just be fixed. And we're not talking about mentally or emotionally. No, we're talking about physically. That's insane. That is scary. I like that. While Luce uses her own talk no jutsu, Belos is on his way to the Titan's still beating heart. Rain breaks free from Belos' grip and runs after him. Trapped by Belos, Rain smashes their violin, which creates a shield around the Titan's heart. Unfortunately, a very small portion of Belos was already connected to the heart. We then see the rest wake up in the archives, surrounded by the others that were turned into puppets. As Luce takes the Collector through her memory lane, the skeletal remains of the Titan wake up as Belos has taken it over. The Collector himself, learning about forgiveness and talk no jutsu, tries it himself to stop Belos. However, not understanding that not everything works like that, Luce sacrifices herself to save the Collector. I wish I could show you this whole scene without YouTube screwing me. This and the scene right after with Ida and King fighting Belos has got to be my top favorite moments of everything. While practically dead, Luce finds herself talking to King's dad in the Between Realm. Had the closed captionings not spoil who this was, the impact would have been even stronger. Don't get me wrong, I still love this, but man, I can only imagine. But, the epicness does not stop there. King's dad lets Luce have his powers, and then he whispers something into her ear to pass on to King.
Right.
In an instant, his skeleton replaces him. I still get goosebumps watching this scene. I mean, I was so excited that I dropped my phone on the table. Before Belos can kill Ida and King, Luce comes back, and again, if YouTube allowed me to show you, I could show you this entire scene in its full glory. I cannot explain everything that happens here because I cannot give it justice. It is a much-watch scene. After all of that, the fight is still not over and Luce's borrowed power is about to run out. Luce ends up ripping Belos off the Titan's heart and things soon turn back to normal. Belos begins to melt under the boiling rain, but Luce refuses to even talk to him.
Sensational.
Oh, it's so good. It's just so good. See, forgiving people is usually the right thing to do. However, there are people out there that just do not deserve it. That's just how it is. Of course, this all depends on all sides. There are people I personally know that I can forgive, and some I just can't. There's just some people I just cannot forgive. But in their life, there are people in their life that can forgive them when I can't. In different situations, if that makes sense. And that goes for me too. There's not a single person that is perfect. People have hurt me, screwed me over. You can name almost anything, and I know that's how some people feel about me as well. We see a timescape where Luce is getting ready to go to college, and as a credits roll, it shows what the characters have been doing since the aftermath of Belos' reign, which was yet another great moment, but unfortunately, I got distracted when Mom came in and made lunch. I will admit, watching this a second time to write the script, I did tear up a bit, but I'm definitely not one to hide my emotions either, as you can see. So, I want to get this out of the way because I don't want this section to be the last part of the video. So, it really sucks that Season 3 was only 3 episodes, because the Owl House was canceled. Now, the reason we were told, which was that the Owl House didn't fit the brand of Disney, very well may be true, but I just can't shake the feeling that there's probably more to it. I'm not one to really get political, and I did have a rant here about politics, but that really doesn't fit the video. I mean, I can make the politic part a separate video. I can talk about politics here and there. But let's just say I'll make it if enough people are interested in what I have to say. But I do come with that with a warning. If that video is made, there's not a single person on either side of the political spectrum that is going to like what I have to say. I will make sure every single side hates me because that's how it is. That's how it was on Twitter. Everybody hates me on Twitter. That's why I don't log into Twitter anymore. I mean, like, I already have other things I need to worry about, but I'm going to stop talking about it there. That's all I'm going to say on that matter. I'm going to move on. Again, like I said, I wasn't going to grade these episodes. However, just for the heck of it, I'm going to grade the season. It'll be a brand new design because I have lost the old one, which does suck, but that means I get to try out new editing techniques. Okay, let's start with the characters. Even though we were only given 3 episodes, the writers did very good on growing these characters still, which is insane. I still want more. Perhaps there will be a spin-off, like that was said earlier, but it will probably be like one of those like mini episode things that's like online only. Like that's been a thing popping up here and there, especially with Pokemon. Pokemon does it a lot. I mean, we even see why the collector is the way he is, why he's doing all this stuff. Bellows should have had more time, if you ask me. I mean, if it wasn't canceled, there's probably a good chance that Bellows, there'd be like at least one episode with just Bellows and all that stuff, and you know, just a little bit more screen time for Bellows. Not that it was bad what we got, but I think there could have been more. This will not hurt their grade, by the way. And we still get Luce and her friends and other people. They're still fighting against their weaknesses and overcoming it and stuff. It's great. It's just great to see, considering I've been doing that too for the past 2 years. So, as you may know, it's going to be a 10. Animation, again. I wish I could show you more with that YouTube just screwing me over. You know, YouTube doesn't like me showing Owl House clips, as you could see a couple times before. But you saw the episodes, I think. If you haven't, why are you here? How did you make it this far? What are you doing? Watch the Owl House right now. But I still think the first fight we got with Bellows this season, it's top of the line. It's just fantastic. 10. Story. I'm not doing a TLDR. If you want to hear what I have to say about the story, how'd you skip all the way here? Go watch from here, and you'll see what I talked about the story. Anyway, 10. The OST, oh my god, it blew it out of the park. Especially the last episode. I've been listening to the soundtrack just as much as I have been listening to the soundtrack of Film Red. 10. And the hype. I usually, this is usually used for like, oh, I can't wait for the next episode, but there's not going to be any more episodes. Other than that, the hype was a 10 and a silent woo, because I hate living in an apartment. I got neighbors there, and there. I try not to be too loud, but sometimes that just doesn't happen. It's been nearly 2 years on this amazing journey with Luce, and it's finally come to a close. So much has happened these past 2 years in my personal life, and they weren't minor changes either. I've been beat down, but I'm always going to try to keep moving. I'm going to keep going, no matter how rough it seems to be going, to be where it's headed. And because of this, the Owl House and One Piece will never will never not be associated with these times, which will make it more nostalgic as time goes by. Even with Amphibia to a degree. But I'll talk about that in another video. With that being said,